Hello, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me. It's midnight, and it's been a very, very terrible week. So, it's April. It is the second week. This is the second week of the first week of April. Today's date, let me check. It's April 10th. So, second week, and it's on Friday. Well, we just got into Friday because I told you it's midnight. And currently, I'm not even sleeping on my bed. I'm sleeping on my father's couch. I hope you can see. Let me try using a flashlight to show you how, like, where I'm at right now. I hope you can see. So right now I'm sleeping in the living room in my father's house. Well, it's not like I left though, because I usually just live outside, but we're still within the compound. But today I'm sleeping here, so I'm gonna tell you guys why. So the reason why I'm saying that this has been a very terrible week is because I feel like crashing out so bad, it's insane. But I have to keep calm. Anyway. So on Sunday, which was on April 4th, if I'm not wrong, April 5th, 25, 5th, yeah. So April 5th, we have the church service, we conclude, and then we sleep for the night. When we wake up, no electricity. So we assume it's gonna come back in no time, right? Or in the course of the day, but maybe it won't delay. It delayed for 72 hours. 72 hours. 3 days. 3 whole days. 3. Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday. Now, mind you, for these 3 days, I had school. I had work at Heshimika, right? And I had my own personal things to do. I couldn't do because all of them require me to obviously have my laptop for me to execute. Anyway, so Monday, we were thinking it's gonna come back. It didn't come back. Now, luckily on Monday I didn't have school. Actually, no, I did, but the lecturer did not turn up. So it was actually an online class. So I'm grateful because I didn't know what to do. My phone's on low charge, as in it wasn't really a pretty time. So I'm glad he didn't show up. He got some other engagement. So that day went like that. And so I assumed, you know what? Tuesday is gonna come back. And the lecturer said, let's meet on Tuesday, online again. So I was like, okay, maybe by tomorrow it would have returned. Plus, I would also been able to prepare for a Heshimika meeting, actually, a very important one, where I was the one moderating between the mentees of last year's cohort and the CEOs Association that we are working with, that we partnered with for a branch of the program. Now, at this point, on Sunday, I had decided to postpone some of the work that I was supposed to do to Monday because I was extremely tired, given that that weekend was a beehive of activities. We had the Easter, actually, it was the Easter weekend. So we had a lot of activities in church, and we actually had a 24-hour worship experience in church. So from Friday morning to Saturday morning, I so I was really tired because of that. I didn't get any rest, any proper rest. Then the church service, and there was also a lot of activities on Sunday. So after the service was over on Sunday, I was like, you know what, I can't do some more when I'm feeling as exhausted as I'm feeling. So I said, you know what, I'll just do it on Monday morning, because it wasn't also at a bulky work that if I didn't start doing it now, I would be late to complete the work that I was supposed to do. It will obviously take some time, but it wasn't that heavy. Okay. Anyway, so Monday did not happen, but I still was intensing. Tuesday. Now, Tuesday is the day for the meeting. I was supposed to prepare the meeting link. I was supposed to update all the stakeholders from the in-house team to the CEOs themselves to the mentees. I was literally the focal point of this whole operation. Now, at this time, I'm also running the same responsibilities as our executive director. So I was technically the CEO because she was on maternity leave, and so majority of her tasks and her responsibilities I took up as far as ELP goes, right? Obviously there are many other facets of Ishimika, but as far as ELP goes, I was the one who was, you know, taking up all those responsibilities. Now, I was already overwhelmed because now I'm realizing there's no electricity, there's still pending schoolwork, I have a class and a meeting, so these are back to back to back meetings. Then there's a friend of mine whom I hadn't talked to in like 18, 19 months, and we just talked on Sunday night before the lights were gone, and so we had not finished the conversation, so I told her we can talk on Monday. Now remember, Monday the electricity did not return. Tuesday, I then texted her on Monday and I told her, you know what, the electricity went, hasn't come back, let's do this on Tuesday. Guess what? Couldn't do it on Tuesday. Luckily, she exchanged shifts with a friend of hers, so we wouldn't even have been able to meet anyway. So she said, let's wait for the weekend. And I was like, okay, that will buy me some time. Tuesday, I'm expecting the electricity to return. Who is Kenya Power? Who is Kenya Power? Bruh, somebody needs to put these people in jail. Tuesday, no electricity. Wednesday. Now, on Tuesday, I didn't have a class, except for the makeup class that the Monday lecturer postponed to. But normally on Tuesdays, I'm not supposed to have any other class. So I was able to do the Heshimika meeting on the phone. I was able to buy some data, do edits on the phone. And actually, something I didn't mention was the electricity came back slightly in the morning for a couple of hours, actually like 2 or 3 hours. And so I seized that opportunity to do some of the work that I was supposed to do. And it wasn't that the electricity came back in a stable way. It came back flickering. You know, that kind of electricity. I don't know if you all have experienced it, but here we've experienced it a lot. Stima inakuja lakini inakuja hivi. So it wasn't stable. So I was just trying to work with what I had to, you know, just as maximally as I could to get the most out of that. Because there's nothing else I could have done now. Our neighbors also suffering the same fate, so I couldn't go to my neighbors, right? Well, there were ones with a generator. Yeah, but then again, they have a generator because of the business they run there at their house. So they couldn't turn on the generator at our will. They could only turn it on when they're running operations. So the moments when we probably would want to use it, we couldn't use it because we can't go to somebody else's house and tell them we would like to use your electricity. And they're like, no, we can't turn it on for your sake or even for our sake because they're not even using it themselves unless it's they have like a go down or factory just near the house where they manufacture stuff. I'm not gonna say what it is, but yeah. So you see what that whole situation looks like. Because even they themselves are not using it. Why would they turn it on for me, right? And they only use it when the operations are actively running. And so maybe in those moments we are not, or I'm not, or my dad is not in a position to go there and work from there or get our things charged from there. Maybe because you're not in the house, or it's just a misalignment of schedule, so to speak. Let me put it that way simply. So I was able to get some of that work done. I prepared the program, I sent the reminders, prepared the meeting link, set everything up, ensured that I um, encouraged everyone to join the meeting. And so I did the mobilization, did all the updates, everything. We did the meeting, it was successful. I moderated it so well, and I'm grateful. And then the meeting ended, and then, slept, waiting for the electricity to come back on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday comes, and on Wednesday, I had a class. So I decided, you know what, let me go and charge my things from school. And so I went to school, okay? And I didn't really get the chance to charge my things from school because the moment I got to school is the moment the lecture was starting. So, and the class that we were doing the lecture in didn't have sockets, so I couldn't charge. So I had to be in class with a low battery phone, and actually the other one, the one that I'm filming on right now, was off. So it wasn't really an ideal situation, and I had back-to-back classes. So that whole situation was just terrible. Luckily, thank God, Marcus, my cousin Geoffrey, I'm sure I've mentioned him a lot. He, because we go to the same school, he was in school too. He had classes too on that day, and it just so happened that he had an online class. That means he had the liberty of being in any classroom he would have wanted. And so he was in a classroom where there were sockets. So what I did is I took my phones to him and he charged them for me as he did his class. Now I went back to class, we did the class, and then after evening came, we came back home. Now I didn't mention this, but the reason why I'm saying that this week has been very terrible is because, well, a lot of things, this is one of them, and it's, gonna get worse. But on Tuesday, was it on Tuesday or on Monday? Yeah, I think it was on Monday night. On Monday night, the electricity came back, but ile ya kuflika, you know when I was telling you. And then there was this instance, ikifanya tu hivyo, when it was doing that, it came back with so much power. I don't know, it's power surge or something. I don't know what it's called. There's a specific name it has, but it came with so much power that all the sockets that were on shot, and the bulbs as well, zikalipuka, right? So they shattered, and one of the devices that were on, because you see when the electricity came, we were like, okay, maybe it's just flickering, but it will stabilize, so it's good, we can start using the devices that we had. One of them was Geoffrey's woofer. Marcus's woofer was on. So when it came on, it shot. So now it's not active. The other thing that was on was his laptop in the charge. So when it shot, I think it ruined his charger or his laptop or both, I'm not sure. Because on Thursday now, what happened on Wednesday was, because the whole day was, we were in school, we were waiting for the electricity to come back. We came back home and there was still no electricity. Okay. But then at night, around 10 p.m., the electricity came back. But now, obviously, because of the way it was inconsistent and unstable, we weren't really sure whether it's going to last or whether it's going to be stable. So we were very conservative, we weren't really excited, we weren't really jumping on the opportunity of just using those uh, sockets and bulbs and whatever's charging our devices, etc. Just give it some time. And eventually we saw, okay, it's not flickering, it's stable. And so we started using the devices and the sockets and the switches. Just to be clear, not using anything else. Anyway, so electricity came back Thursday, which was now yesterday. We had a class, so we went to school, but now my devices were charged and things were better because at least the electricity did not set me back in any way. And then I came back home. Now, for these 3 nights when there was no electricity, so I'm about to share something a bit more, kind of personal. For the past 1 year, I have been really experiencing an issue, and that issue is bed bugs. So bed bugs have been haunting me for the past 1 year, and every time we've tried some form of treatment like hot water treatment, it hasn't worked. Aeration hasn't worked because they keep coming back. And so because they thrive in the dark at night and they mostly hide in beds because they're flesh eaters, you can imagine from 6 p.m. all the way to 6 a.m. it was free roam time. And so I had no idea. Okay, I kind of had an idea, that they were there, but I didn't know that they were that many. And so every night I went to sleep for those 3 days when the electricity was out, I constantly woke up at ungodly hours, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., because I could feel them eating my flesh. It was such a horrid experience. I hated every minute of it. I couldn't sleep. I was struggling to find sleep. I was honestly traumatized, to say the least. And so it was terrible, terrible. Anyway, on Tuesday night, no, the night waking up to Wednesday was the first time I woke up mid sleep. But even the night before, I could feel them, but they didn't wake me up. But on Wednesday, the night of waking up on Wednesday, not the night of waking up on Tuesday, the night of waking up on Wednesday is when they woke me up for the first time. And then I texted my dad at 4 a.m. and I told him, man, these things are getting out of hand. They need to go. And so he told me, you know what, we're going to look for a permanent solution this time. And the reason why we hadn't found a permanent solution before was because it was costly. And so we thought, if we have hot water, then let's make the most of it, and try and maximize on that before we try other more expensive means. And now it got to a point where it's like we can't continue doing that because clearly they haven't worked. And so my dad decided, you know what, we're going to pursue fumigation, because now fumigation is more effective, but now that's more costly. And so I told me, you know what, I'm going to call. Just tell me when you'll be coming back home so that we can do it when you're here. And so on that Wednesday, I came home late, like I told you earlier. And then now on Thursday, which was yesterday, I came home earlier. So I went to the class in the morning, and I came back early at around 11:30. I was here. So I told him that morning. They woke me up again on now the night of waking up on Thursday. Thursday before going to class. And so that only emphasized more on how pertinent and how urgent this issue was. So I came back, I took a nap, and then told him to call the guys who were supposed to come and do the fumigation. And then when he did call them, they came. And throughout the whole afternoon yesterday, that's all we did, fumigating that house, that room. And that is why I stay with Marcus. So every single cloth, corner, inch of the bed, any part of the house, every clothing was sprayed with insecticides. Or is it pesticides? Because those are pests. I think insects, I don't know. But that medicine, every inch of my house was sprayed. And so for that afternoon, for about 2 to 3 hours, that's all we did. And obviously now we can go back to that room for now, because we have to let everything sit. We have to let the medicine do its job. And also, that guy advised us to do hot water treatment after he sprayed our clothes with the medicine. Should I call it the medicine? I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, that. He told us we do the hot water treatment just to enforce and make sure that truly, truly, truly they're gone. And so that's what we've been doing. Every cloth is in hot water right now. And so, our bed has been dismantled so we can go to sleep. And that's why I'm here. My father's couch. On my father's couch. Tonight. Already Friday. I have a class today. I need to go. And then come back and hopefully get things back in order. For Ishimika, my boss has been texting me. And like you guys know, I have a new role. So I am someone else's boss. And so they have also been trying to reach out. And because of just how hectic this whole time has been, it's been so hard for me to reach back out and be consistently present with them and answer their questions or tend to their needs, that I even told them, just give me a minute, let me sort a few things out, let's talk later, like next week. And I can have this weekend to get my things up right. It's terrible. Yeah. Then the thing about bed bugs is it's not a hygiene issue. It really isn't a hygiene issue. They're just flesh eaters, and so you can carry them from wherever, even on the matatus, because I use matatu to travel. They could just leach in to your coat or somewhere on your clothes, and you carry them home without even realizing. And then they start haunting you. So I don't know what permanent solution there can be for these animals or pests or whatever they're called, but they are so menacing and so traumatizing, honestly. Yeah. And on top of that, actually, I hadn't mentioned this. Today we just found out, like not today, but yesterday on Thursday, that, what I told you earlier about Marcus's laptop not being functional. We hadn't known this for those days, those 3-4 days. We've come to know it yesterday at night. So what that essentially means is he doesn't have a laptop to study or to go for his attachment in 2 months. My laptop is not good enough to help him do what he wants to do. That is why we are living at a very, very trying time for us, me and him, because we've been looking for money to buy a new laptop. The thing is, as much as we want to achieve great things, you also need the tools, the systems, the mechanisms, and the resources to help you get there. We lack that. We don't have the money, we don't have the tools, we don't have the machines. And so it's like what we are left with to do are things that require time and physical presence, which you can't give because you're in school. So you see, there are so many constraints that are in play that determine how likely we are to succeed. And so we are trying our best to just work with what we have, but also navigate the constraints to kind of give ourselves a better shot by having the right tools, the right resources. But it's hard because to get resources, you also need resources. That's the biggest paradox. So I don't know how we're gonna navigate it. Hopefully, we're gonna get some money. Get us a laptop that we could both use, even for working, because I need one for Yashimika as well. I need for school. He needs for school. He needs to do online courses. So do I. And there's so many other softwares that we want to download to help us deliver services that we can make money off of. Right now on my laptop I have DaVinci Resolve and I know how to edit. Maybe I'm not a pro per se, but that's a skill I have. But I can't maximize on it because I don't have the tool that accommodates what is necessary for me to execute. Yet that's a source of income. That's a source of income. I have a skill that can give me some money, but now I can't. So that's what I'm saying. We both have very shit laptops, honestly. But now we're trying to find a way to get new ones, which is very expensive. We saw one for 50,000 shillings. That's around $500. But it's perfect. It's perfect for everything that we need to do, especially to accommodate two users who are heavily using it. So that's the one that we are really targeting. Hopefully we'll get it. But that's also a very hard hitting news. And then I also got two very terrible news yesterday. Actually, I got one on Wednesday and one yesterday. Wednesday, I got a regret letter for an internship I applied at Safaricom. I didn't make the cut, so that was the first news. The second news was a regret letter for missing out on an opportunity I applied for with an organization called Civicus, something I thought I was perfectly suited for, but I missed it. I missed the mark, so it was going to pay really well. I'd even started thinking about what I could do with that money, but fortunately I didn't make the cut, so I lost that gig as well. And now I just have to try and find what I can do outside of those opportunities. And now I'm only waiting for one more Standard Chartered. Hopefully I get in. If I don't know what's gonna happen with me. It's honestly a very trying time. And I'm also really broke. Really broke. I don't even know what to do anymore. It's so hard. As in, there's so many distractions. Like Sasa, when I tell you about the bedbug story, these are not things we should be dealing with, but they're so emotionally and mentally tasking, and also physically. Oh my days! We have to move things in and out. You have to do the hot water treatment. We had to do the fumigation. We have to clean the house. We have to, as in, it's a lot of work. It's taking so much time. It's annoying. I'm honestly just, I don't even know anymore. It's been the worst week of my entire year. Just asking God to forgive me because I think I did something and I said something that I'm not gonna reveal here per se, but maybe later. But yeah, I think God might be angry with me and Marcus because we were together in that. So I'm just asking for his forgiveness and for his redemption and restoration of order because it's been terrible. It honestly feels like everything has just been working against us. And then now today, the class I have is for doing the research project that will determine my graduation. And apparently, we might have an issue with the proposal already because you're supposed to meet the lecturer one on one as a group. So it's just misfortune upon misfortune. It's crazy. Yeah. Then my team was also beaten. Barcelona was beaten this week in the Champions League first leg by Atletico Madrid. It's just, I don't know how I'm surviving at this point. It's so bad. Wow. Yeah. And then also, I found out apparently the exams could be pushed forward instead of when they were supposed to happen. They're supposed to happen 2 months from now. They're saying it might happen in less than 3 weeks. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared. I mean, given everything, clearly I've not had the time to actually just sit down and study. And as much as I want my university education to be over as soon as possible, I also want it to end smoothly and graciously. I haven't even found out about my results for second year and for third year too. So it's kind of like everything is just all over the place. Everything is just going way too fast. And it's in these moments where Alex says the likelihood of success is determined by your ability to endure or persevere difficulty without changing your course. Like you know what you're doing without changing your vision, without changing your mission, where you're going. You still stick to it, but every challenge that you're facing, you take it up with pride, with zeal, with grace, and humility too. I know I've said pride, but it's the pride of I can do it, and I trust God that He'll be able to take me through. But the humility of knowing that you're only human, and this happens to everybody. It's not the first, not the last for you, or for not for anybody. But you're also just escapable. So yeah, it's been a tough time. And I'm sure there are other things that have happened that might seem trivial, but I've not mentioned. But yeah, it's I can't emphasize enough just how bad it has been. But to God be the glory. I hope it's all gonna be over soon and things will look up. So pray with me and continue supporting me and let's see what story comes from this. So yeah.